It's 2024. What has happened in the Greater Newburyport housing market? We're your local Newburyport real estate experts, and let's dive into our market report. What's going on in Newburyport?
Well, yeah, so in Newburyport in the past month, there have been 12 single-family homes that have sold. Average sale price was $910,000, which seems like it's lower than it's been.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Median sale is $962,500. Right now, there are 12 active single-family homes for sale. What's happening with condos?
Condos, 2 sold in January.
That's it?
Two.
Average sale?
$1 million. And there are 19 active, surprisingly. I did see a lot of condos come on this week, so
Yeah.
good sign for condos. In Newbury, there were 8 single-family homes that sold in the month of January. The average sale price was $1,383,250. The median sale price was $1,096,250. There are currently 7 active. There's also 1 condo on the market.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you all think out there about that price? Seems pretty high to me.
Yeah, I mean, but it's only 8, so who knows?
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, well, West Newbury, wonderful West Newbury.
Yes.
Single families, 4 sold. The average was $993,375. The median was $1,010,000. And there are 5 active homes on the market right now. So it's pretty consistent for West Newbury.
Yeah,
little old West Newbury.
Yeah, and you know what? There have been months in the winter that we've only seen 1 or 2 sales, so 4 is okay. 4 is
robust.
okay, yeah.
Now, what about Wild Amesbury?
Amesbury, there were only 4 that sold in the month of January. Your average sale price was $585,000. Your median was $467,500. There are 7 currently active.
And in condos?
Yes, 7 sold in the month of January. Your average sale price was $614,000. Your median sale price was $436,888. There are currently 3 active. So let's talk about the Fed meeting that happened yesterday.
Sure.
Jerome Powell said that he doesn't believe that in March that they are going to come to a consensus as a committee to lower rates again.
Well, the other piece was this morning the jobs report came out, and we added over 300,000 jobs in the month of January, which was way above what is expected.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happening is wages are tracking ahead of inflation. So if inflation's at...
They are.
Yes, wages are, it's hard to believe, but eventually people will feel it because wages have grown at 4.5% and inflation's at 3.5%. So eventually people will feel that difference.
There were predictions that there were going to be at least like 4 to 6 rate cuts in the coming year, and now Jerome Powell is being a little bullish about that. I don't think that means that we won't see under 6%. I feel like we still will see under 6% this year. I mean, they're teetering right now.
Well, basically the issue is the economy is doing really well. So we don't really need to add fire by lowering the rates because unemployment is down, inflation is down, wages are up. So those are all things that were in decline back in 2020, and that's why they lowered the rates, because people are losing their jobs. So unfortunately, it's logical, but we don't like it because we're in real estate. We have lower rates.
Right. So how do you think it's going to impact the housing market around here? If rates stay in the mid 6s or above 6, say it's 6 or above for the rest of the year, how do you think that's going to impact the number of homes we have available? Like what, you know?
Well, I just think it's going to be the same as last year. We don't have many homes, and the trade-up buyers are still stuck in their wonderful 3% mortgages and don't want to give them up because they don't want their mortgage payment to go up 20% in housing price and their mortgage to double. It doesn't. Why would you do that?
Right. They can't afford it.
That's exactly right.
They simply can't afford it. Most people can't go from a $2,000 a month mortgage to a $5,000 a month mortgage.
That's exactly right. So, unfortunately, you can't have it both ways. The economy is strong, so that's good news, but it doesn't bring the rates down.
We had 2 listings that went live in January. Both were bananas.
Yep.
The open houses were crazy.
Yep.
Multiple offers, over asking, gone the first weekend.
That's exactly right.
Even in the high end. The high end is seeing some resurgence again after a very slow 2023. Yep. The high end was static.
Yeah, and a new listing came on at
2.45 or something.
Sold in a weekend. So
not even.
Yeah.
Didn't make it past the Thursday commuters open house.
Yeah, so the market is still robust. It's still very competitive, which makes it very hard on buyers.
Yeah. So what about people who are looking to sell their houses right now? What advice are we giving them?
So that's an interesting
Yeah.
subject, because a lot of people are thinking that they want to sell their home off market. That, if you just have somebody, I'll sell it.
Right.
If that works for your family because you don't want anybody in your house to see it, or you want to be private, which it never is because it's public information, that's fine, but the highest and best value is going to be going on the open market. In the case of these 2 listings, we had one seller say, if you get me X dollars, we had, pre-market it, get me X dollars, and we'll sell it. So we tried that.
Yeah.
We actually used a lot of sophisticated marketing tools to find buyers that might fit that.
Yeah.
We did paid advertising.
Yeah.
We had 40 or 30 inquiries and 0 showing
Yeah.
requests. We put it on the market, and we could have had, we went way over the seller's expectations
Yeah.
dramatically.
Yeah.
And it just showed that the open market is where you're going to get the most money. So to me, I
Yeah.
feel like doing something off market isn't in the seller's best interest.
I think most sellers, what's on their mind is, if I put my house on the market, that's all fine, good that I can get 10 offers. Where am I gonna go?
That is the big problem.
Yeah.
That is the big problem. Sometimes we have situations where somebody says, I'll put my house on the market and then I'll find something, and then they don't. So that's
Yeah.
that's
And
not-
sometimes they do. I had clients last year that used the subject to suitable housing clause.
which means
Yeah.
I will sell my house if I find a house.
Right. So I'm putting it on the market first, but I need to find a house. And if I can't find a house in X amount of days and it's written out in the contract, then the contract is null and void.
Right.
So we are seeing that.
It's a risk.
It is a risk, especially with no inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges of today's market.
Yeah. And buyers, what are buyers facing in today's market?
Just competition.
Yeah.
Competition. One of the
Yeah.
agents in our office put a really great 2-family in Haverhill under agreement the other day, and there were 12 offers.
Wow.
Yeah, for a 2-family in Haverhill, and went way over asking price. Jeez. And they had to be competitive. The buyers had to be competitive to get the house.
Right.
Which is
Well, 'cause
not
that's an
always in
inve-
everybody's custom. It's not in everyone's comfort zone.
Yeah.
To waive contingencies.
Right. Especially with multifamily housing, though, you're competing against investors oftentimes that have cash. So that's a really, that's a competitive market to begin with.
Always. Yep.
Yeah. That is our January market report for Greater Newburyport.
Yes. And we will see you next month.